I think Bitcoin's going to 20x. I think it'll be $1 million a coin within 10 years. I don't think you're going to get that by investing in in uh, in a lot of these AI plays. You probably will get that investing in Nvidia, but it may crash a lot before then. I think Bitcoin is right now the best investment of the two, and I think ultimately AI is going to change the world even more than Bitcoin.
Krueger asserts that the long-term potential of Bitcoin remains immense. He projects that Bitcoin could reach $1 million per coin within the next 10 years, which represents a 20x return from its current levels. This kind of return, Krueger argues, is unlikely to be matched by most AI investments, except for perhaps companies like NVIDIA, which is leading the AI hardware market. However, even NVIDIA is subject to volatility and market corrections, which could create significant short-term pain for investors.
Please take a little time to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on post notifications for more videos like this. You can also check out our other videos on cryptocurrencies and the overall digital asset space and drop your comments and observations in the comments section below. Everything you do helps with the YouTube algorithm and immensely contributes to the channel's growth. Thanks and enjoy the video.
Bitcoin is sort of coming in under the radar here. People in the Silicon Valley like to get involved in things early. And because they like to get involved in things early, they're not interested in the 15-year-old technology. That's just old hat. That's Series E. They're not interested. They want the Series A. They want to get in before the rest of the crowd. So I feel like, and I posted about this, that they feel like they missed Bitcoin. They feel it's not interesting. It's not going to give them the juice that they kind of want. And it doesn't fit the VC model very well. So they're not loaded up on Bitcoin yet. I feel like they will, but just like Chamath sold all his Facebook stock too early. I think it's not yet clear to this group that Bitcoin is real money. So to summarize my position on this, I think you guys know where I stand with respect to the power law and ultimate hyperbitcoinization. I think Bitcoin's going to 20x. I think it'll be $1 million a coin within 10 years. I don't think you're going to get that by investing in a lot of these AI plays. You probably will get that investing in Nvidia, but it may crash a lot before then. So Nvidia definitely seems like a winner longer term, but as Peter Thiel said, there may be enormous pain in between. And I just love Bitcoin. I feel like the long-term future is good. The entry point is good. Bitcoin at 57,000 is a steal. You should just buy a lot of Bitcoin. If you don't own Bitcoin, I don't know what to tell you. It should be talked about more at an event like this, but they're not focused on it. Silicon Valley's not focused on it. And it doesn't need Silicon Valley, right? So let's be clear. And by the way, Silicon Valley's not focused on gold either, which is at all-time highs. So, I think this is just a blind spot in Silicon Valley, but it doesn't mean that Bitcoin's not going to do very well. Now, when Elon came and talked about AI, he kind of laid out this vision of these Optimus robots, sort of rolling out in 5 years. Let's just call it 10, but maybe starting to roll out in 5 years. And you'll have these humanoid robots. And the most amazing thing was he said that these robots are going to outnumber humans. And that's going to totally change everything, right? So if we have billions of non-human workers that can work 24/7 and don't have to undergo DEI training or woke training or anything, and they never complain. They do what you want. And when one robot learns how to do the job, all robots learn how to do the job. That is a superior worker, and that will totally change the game. And if I had to guess, I think in 10 years, you're going to have that. So we are going to start having massive amounts of robots. So my bet on this would be, and I intend to, I don't own Tesla right now, but I intend to buy some Tesla just because I do subscribe to this long-term view of Elon Musk, and I'm a long-term investor. So I'm happy to hold Tesla for 10 years. I definitely see that of all the people and all the visions, that vision of the integration of AI and robotics is probably the strongest, most compelling use case. But in any case, AI is going to totally change everything. But how do you invest in it? You don't know.
Krueger brings attention to the political and regulatory challenges facing Bitcoin, particularly in the U.S. He mentions Operation Chokepoint, a government initiative aimed at restricting access to financial services for certain industries. In this context, Krueger highlights how Bitcoiners are increasingly focused on self-custody solutions and the need to preserve on-ramps and off-ramps to the Bitcoin economy. The political climate under the Democratic Party, Krueger argues, is hostile to Bitcoin. He predicts that if politicians like Kamala Harris gain more control, there will be tighter regulations, higher taxes, and more restrictions on Bitcoin transactions. Krueger sees this as part of a broader agenda aimed at controlling financial systems and redistributing wealth through taxation.
For us Bitcoiners is Operation Chokepoint, and basically enabling or disabling the on-ramps and off-ramps to Bitcoin, right? And I think that's not been talked about at this conference, but certainly every Bitcoiner that I know is very much on this topic of Operation Chokepoint. So the ability to have self-custody wallets, the ability to buy and sell Bitcoin easily, the ability to develop a Bitcoin-based economy over the next decade, this becomes a lot more problematic with the Democrats in charge. They hate Bitcoiners. They love bankers. They love rules and restrictions and on-ramps and off-ramps. They want to control everything. And that I think is going to be a huge difference between the candidates. And like the third big difference is taxes, right? And this goes back to control again. Kamala's going to tax the hell out of everybody. Why? Because it's a way of cutting down billionaires to size. It's a way of them reaching into people's pockets, getting money, redistributing that money. So, all this stuff with trans and bathrooms and all the rest, and this is brought up many, many times. With sort of, this is just it really is a sideshow to the fact that there's just going to be massive control, WEF style, control and planning and farming of humans as if they're kind of livestock. And I feel like that's kind of where we're headed with Kamala. And, sort of the last sort of side note on that is free speech, right? And, here we have X that is now banned in Brazil. So if you want to watch this video, you've got to use a VPN in Brazil right now. I mean, you can watch it on YouTube. They haven't banned YouTube yet, but, who knows, right? We could be seeing a very, very controlled environment for social media under the next administration. So those are really the plays. I'd say, all of this, if I had to weigh all of these things, I think the most important thing right now is this election. We obviously have the debate tonight. But this election, it's a platitude to say this is the most important election, but I think actually in this particular case, it actually is more important than the last one. I'm no Trump fan in general. didn't vote for him in this last election. I voted for Biden, but I will definitely be casting my at least theoretical vote for Trump in the next one. I'm in California, so it doesn't matter. But yeah, I think that the election is the most important thing, and then with respect to the Bitcoin AI debate, I think Bitcoin is right now the best investment of the two, and I think ultimately AI is going to change the world even more than Bitcoin. But I just don't think it means that you have to put your money there. I think your best bet right now is to put your money. And one last thing I would like to point out is, that we're talking about China a little bit in this all in, and Peter Thiel made a very good point that you can't invest in China, right? You can't invest. You have what's probably going to become the world's largest economy, and you can't invest in it, right? You can't directly participate in it. You can't trust these public Chinese companies. You can't buy the private companies. You can't. It's very difficult to do joint ventures in China. But if China goes to a Bitcoin standard, like I do believe they ultimately will, you can participate in China's rise to as a global superpower, potentially the global superpower, by owning Bitcoin. So
Krueger discusses China's potential role in the future of Bitcoin. He notes that while it's nearly impossible to invest directly in Chinese companies due to regulatory issues and lack of transparency, owning Bitcoin offers a way to indirectly participate in China's economic rise. Krueger believes that China could eventually adopt a Bitcoin standard, which would further solidify Bitcoin's role in the global economy. This, he suggests, might be one of the only viable ways for Western investors to gain exposure to China's growing influence without the risks associated with investing in Chinese stocks or private companies. As China ascends to become the world's largest economy, Bitcoin could serve as a bridge for global investors to benefit from its growth.
Please like and subscribe my channel.